elevation. Green Light City, baby. Here we are. I'm with one of the coldest ever to come through the city. It's hard to tell when we talk about the coldest to ever come through the city. I ain't just talking about who was born in the city, but who came through the city. Even if it was just for a visit, even if it was just for some guts. Cut the deck. This man is cold. How many people you knew went from the streets of 110 junior high to Cincinnati Bearcats? Bobby Huggins.
Cronin.
Cronin
era.
We got talk. Cut the deck. Who recruited you?
Cronin.
How many years did he come after Huggins? Because if I don't know, they don't know.
Right after Huggins. When Huggins got fired, he came right in. Yeah.
That part. We got a guy that his reputation precedes itself on the court. And his nickname, since a kid, I believe, I've been doing research, goes right with the way his hoop game was. We got Knuckles, better known as to his mama as Deonta Vaughn.
For sure. Appreciate you for having me on.
Yes,
it's always love out here.
Man, wanted to put your government name out there just in case they want to Google you. Cut the deck. We got an Indiana All-Star here, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Let's cut right to the deck early. Coming through the streets. When was the first time you knew you might be a criminal in the future?
I don't know, man.
I'm just saying that thug in you, that I ain't playing around in you.
It's probably because, shoot, I could say most likely I grew up around all my uncles. So I ain't seen it all, so. Growing up around a bunch of males, your mind tends, you know what I mean, think different than most others, you know, so.
Getting the game early.
Yeah, so
soaking it in.
Either get in or drown.
You had some cold uncles?
I mean, my uncles was nice and stuff on the court, you know what I mean, they did their thing, but they ain't really stick with it.
Was it on the court or at court?
Both.
Shout out to the streets.
Yeah. Both, but you know, more so, my mom was a hooper.
Yeah.
My mom went the Ripple. My mom was could have kept going on if she ain't chose the streets herself. So.
Damn, chose the streets herself. So, shout out to Afeni Shakur.
It is what it is.
She's still here with us?
Yeah, Veronica's still around. She around.
Shout out to Veronica. Shout out to Pig, too. I like mamas on first name basis with the kids. It's something I trust about that. I feel like, you know, somehow something happened, but it worked out in the end where it was a respect of you or I and I or you. And no matter what happens, it ain't gonna be two. We both won.
Right. It is what it is. You gotta learn how to play with the cards that's dealt with you.
Sound like a lot of stories. The Gloria James stories come to mind. LeBron. Not saying that was the same path, but we all going through it in life. With that being said, I heard you took out a lot of pain on that court. Was it a lot of pain?
I mean, it was the only ticket. The only ticket out.
At what point did you know you was a killer?
Man, you know what? I ain't even really start taking ball serious like that, man, until until like my junior year, for real. I just played to be playing. It was just a hobby. But I played every day, but at the same time, it was just what it was. It was something that I liked to do at the time, you feel me? So I had older brothers. I got, you know what I mean, my older brother and cousin. We played every day outside. I had people in the neighborhood. We used to play in the dust, dunk on each other. By the time my 8th grade year, I believe, me and my squad was almost really running the older dudes at Washington Park.
At what point?
About our 8th grade year.
That's filthy. They built me to be filthy on some I do or die shit.
I ain't never played with.
8th grade?
I
Killing
like
the boys at the bar. I'm just saying, you could tell the way I jumped with the Holy Ghost. Everybody knows in the 8th grade, you realize it was killers at the park. There was also killers at the park.
Right.
You seen you was at the park dominating. Killers and killers was damn near
sure.
cheering. So the killers was really cheering for you.
sure.
They wanted you to live. Did they want you to live?
I mean, I went to Washington Park every day, probably.
Shout out to Washington Park. They canceled the
Every
Dust
day.
Bowl behind a lot of dust.
Every day, just about. Like, they'll tell you that they called me what? They used to call me Mr. Basketball out there, but that's because they knew who I was. And they seen me
Mr.
come up.
Basketball.
They
I remember
seen me
I was
come
in a
up.
2-day stint in the county about license suspended. They called me Mr. Phenomenal. They knew.
In the
They said
county?
you're gonna be. They said you're gonna. Are you gonna be a superstar or are you gonna be a convict? I said shit.
Both. The street.
My record's been expunged about that license suspended. I'm reinstated. Cut the deck. Back to you. So it's funny because when you say junior year, you finally realized you was. It made me think of Beanie Siegel. Are you a Beanie Siegel? He said, don't hold me back. Y'all cats told Mac to rap. Y'all ain't realized y'all unleashed the beast untamed.
Okay. I mean,
Like a lot of people that wasn't trying, like they wasn't thinking about, like a lot of times when you push too hard, trying to get that little cutie, and then she done ran away. It was almost like you came in like, I really didn't even want it, but come to find out they couldn't hold me. Is that what was going on? Talk to us.
I mean, shit, when I came in, it was just like, I don't know, man. It was just a natural thing. Like I think by playing up, you know what I mean, at the park a lot and playing with my older brother and cousin, it was more so like I already knew what to expect with the physicality and things like that. You know what I mean? So for me, freshman was too easy. Junior varsity was okay. It was solid. I had solid numbers of games I had to play, but after that, they already knew. Like, I was probably about 35 as a freshman. First 5-10 games. I only played with about 5 games. Like 35, it was easy. I ain't gonna cap. It was too easy. And everybody will tell you, my boy and them tell you, it's too easy. It was too easy. I was Steph before Steph as a freshman. I ain't gonna cap. I was coming across the half court letting it go. I'm talking about I'm hitting 10 threes. I ain't taking too many twos at that time. It was love though. I came up from, you know what I mean, a different background than most people. So by the time my junior year really hit and things like that, and I started getting more recognition, I seen it as my ticket. I mean, I just took advantage of it. You know what I mean? Took advantage of the opportunity that, you know what I mean, God gave me. So
Bet on God. It sounds like a murderous story on the court that just, like I'm listening to you and I'm cross-paralleling my development to the skills you talking about. In 8th grade, I was taking flight in the teacher student games. But at the same time, I got to that feeling you talking about, but you got there a lot quicker. So, do you feel like you was born to play basketball?
man, I tell you the truth, football was my sport.
Did you cheat yourself?
Nah, I just gave up on it. Yeah, basically, I just gave up on it. I ain't about to be out there sweating on the ground. I was one of them, like, bro, I'm putting in this grind. One of our main players got hurt. I was next up. I'm doing good in practice all week. I'm like, oh, I'm about to get the game, get the ball. Didn't get that thing. I said, nah, I'm gone. I'm done.
They didn't recognize your talents early?
And I was done. It was out of my mind. I was out here neck rolling in the sun. I'm cool. I was done with that. I was like, man, forget it. I just started playing ball more.
Ain't nothing wrong with them bleachers.
But you know, everybody first love is the opposite sport they played. So you know what I mean? Mine was football at first.
Cut the deck. That being said, who was the first person you ran up on after you knew you had game and it was time to go for a duel? And it was like, we was gonna find out who was the real killer.
Brother.
Your brother?
My brother Derek.
What happened?
And my cousin Tyrone.
What happened?
What? They realized they couldn't handle me no more. They'll tell you. They couldn't handle me no more. Once that 8th grade hit and they realized it, it was over. They couldn't handle me no more. But I give them all props, because without them, I probably wouldn't have, you know what I mean, took basketball up to where it was.
Shout out to the measuring sticks.
Yes, sir.
He was too hot to handle and too cold to hold. Come to find out. Why they call you Knuckles? The fans want to know.
Man, a lot of people don't even know this. As a kid at one point, I had like a...
Deformity?
I had a nervous condition a little bit, so I picked at my knuckles.
No disrespect.
I picked at them at first and stayed like that, and then I think 8th grade we was joning all in class or some stuff. You know what I mean? We all joning, doing our thing, and then I got into a fight one day, and one of my boys, RP Perks, he was like, we're gonna start calling you Knuckles. So
said it like that. Yeah.
Everybody started calling me Knuckles, and it just ran with it.
Phenomenal nickname. I remember Ready Rock told me just similar stories. That somebody was at a basketball court and they looked at him and said, "Look like your name should be Ready Rock." And he said, "Oh, you're right." Shout out to Ready.
Okay.
With that being said, but let's move to the lights when it was time for a duel. I'm going to say this until somebody says something more potent. Mosey came up here and said he's never lost a duel. Now, your brothers and your cousins, they were your set of standards where your measuring stick.
Right.
Now it's time to go to the lights, and it's cameras and it's action, and everybody gonna be talking about it. When was the first time you split a real killer in the lights that everybody knows? Who got split and when, and what happened? Cut the deck.
Oh man,
Basketball's
who was the
basketball.
first one, man? Who was the first person?
First to come to memory. It don't gotta be necessarily the first, but matter of fact, who all got split? Let's start there.
Man, a lot of people got split.
Let's start there. Just breeze through from 8th grade to senior year and on forward.
I can't really. Everybody.
Did David Logan get split by you?
Nah, I ain't David Logan.
Did Dre get split by you?
Me and Dre had battles.
Did
in the
he
summer.
get split by you?
We split each other a couple times.
Okay.
But I give him that.
Did you ever catch Chris Thomas out there? Did you split Christopher?
Chris in the season.
Did you get split? Did he get split?
Chris and them to work.
You got split, Chris. Cut the deck. You might need to come back on.
To work.
Cut the deck. Okay, so let me ask you this. So in the middle of splitting everybody, who was the biggest name that you split where you was like, damn, I gotta split them. I gotta split them.
It might be Mike and Greg.
Greg Song?
Greg Oden.
Ooh, not Greg. Oh,
Mike, we took them down.
Shout out to him calling out the NBA boys that he split.
We took them down in at Arlington.
What happened? Take us back.
It was a Fox Sport game. You know, it was one of the biggest games in the city. You know what I mean? IPS, one of the best IPS schools, which was us, versus the best township school, LN. You know, they got their players, they got their big names. Came in, it was game night. Everybody was feeling good. Everything was clicking for us. So,
everything clicking.
We got, as our mind mentality, can't nobody mess with us anyway. That's how our minds was. You know what I mean? My group of 5, when we came in as the seniors, can't nobody mess with our mindset was just different. So, easy 30 ball on them. That was 30 ball on them. That was a good game, though. They got us in sectionals.
Was it a blur?
The refs knew what they was doing. I don't even know why they try to put us in the same bracket side in the first round.
Was it Gary Donna? We need to talk, Gary.
They put us on the same side, same bracket. Like, I ain't want to see us in the championship.
Yeah.
Y'all could have sold more tickets.
Yeah. For some reason in Indiana, you never know what it's really about.
Yeah.
With that being said, could kindly handle you?
Nah, he was too young. He was a little younger.
I don't give a damn when you called him, because you said you was splitting grown men in the 8th grade.
Nah, Mike couldn't
Could he handle you?
Time. Nah.
Mike, you've been called for the first time on the show. Hello? I'm gonna text you.
Man, Mike and them know it's all love, you know.
But yeah, it's all love.
At that time, Mike and them was.
But like, even in your prime,
like sophomore,
even in your prime, not that it happened Could Mike handle you?
Nah.
Cut the deck. And with that being said, take off the blazer, loosen up the tie, step inside Green Light City. Knuckles is alive. We be right back.